All started with my mom. Met my dad.
I'm a big gangster. I turn around with his foreign love.
They fell in love.
And she died. Now transformed into a grumpy old man named Grandpa Doodle, Grandpa refuses to sell his house to evil business villains, so instead he humbles them every day by telling them to shower. So the corporate villain and this guy conspire against him to send him to a shady-ass place. But Grumps wasn't born yesterday, so in one night he takes out his secret stash of gas cylinders and uses it to tie 5,247 balloons to his chimney, which makes the house fly, proving Newton's first law wrong. Grumps plans on going to Paradise Falls, a place that he and Mom had always dreamed of visiting, but couldn't because Grumps had decided to become a balloon seller to finance that dream. When he is 100,000 feet in the air and not dying of lack of oxygen because that doesn't apply when you're inside the house, he steps out for some fresh air that doesn't exist at that height and finds a mini human who is also not dead because he is technically inside the house as well. Terrified of baby mammals, Grumps considers committing some casual manslaughter, but instead decides to use the infant for manual labor. The balloon house, infused with the latest AI technology, casually flies around all the obstacles and right over the US-Venezuela border. The border control people are too mind-boggled to see a flying house to bring it down, so Grumps has to do it himself by cutting the 3 balloons which are carrying all the weight. Then they're about to fall off a cliff, so he asks the microhuman to drag the house by Grumps' ankles back to safety. They have fallen on the wrong spot. But luckily Grumps has seen Hobbs and Shaw, so he knows what to do, and he starts walking the house to the edge of the cliff where he wants to live. On the island, they find a sassy psychotic bird and a talking dog who is bullied by more talking dogs and a charming Muncilla, which brings us to story time.
Can I tell you a secret?
No.
Alright, here it goes.
Once upon a time, in ancient history, Muncilla went to Paradise Falls and came back with the bones of a bird, expecting that would make him the next president. But nobody gave a shit. So he ran back to the same place to find the bird and decided to become a serial killer. And also a dog and breeder on the side. End of story time. So Grumps and Bebe are about to have dinner with Muncilla, but seeing how he abuses animals to do all the work for him, they abuse the bird into getting them away from the hyenas, getting the birdo injured during the mission. Muncilla uses a GPS tracker to set fire to the house, making the balloons realize, shit, we weren't made for global warming! And some of them die a slow, painful death. Just casual natural selection things. Oh, by the way, Muncilla takes the bird too. The house is made of wood, and yet Grumps manages to take the fire out without water. But teeny human is not impressed. He gets mad at him for not cutting the net with the smallest knife in the world fast enough and not fighting 10 dogs, but Grumps wishes he cared. Slow due to age, his brain takes 2.7 minutes to realize that the movie actually needs to end on a good message. So he gets his ass back out there. But Russell was born in a more fast-paced world, so he has already taken 13 balloons from the house and proceeds to insult the balloons by using a leaf blower for directions, even though they clearly brought them to Venezuela all on their own. Muncilla kidnaps Russo and tries to send him to an early death, but he is saved by the bell of the flying house. Aren't these things supposed to be screwed in? How does everybody get rid of them so easily? If you think that's common sense, then just know that I'm the same age as him. Insisting on wanting to help, the baby effectively creates more problems. Like yours truly. In a fierce battle of weak joints, Muncilla picks a sword rather than a gun because he never had a brain, but Grumps chooses to fight his war without weapons. Until the most crucial moment where he unleashes the deadliest weapon of them all. Suddenly realizing that they might be Tom Cruise, they decide to take the war outside where they can both breathe more easily. And Munzo, despite having been an adult even when Grumps was a kid, just refuses to die. But eventually, natural causes take him out. Grumps loses the house, but he no longer gives a shit because he gets a huge airship instead. They drop off the birdo where their babe sees and go back to the US with the border control, thinking that they hallucinated the flying tank. Teeny Russo gets the Grumps family heirloom instead of the bass that he wanted because life is cruel like that. And the ship just goes wherever they go because it's so convenient. Oh, and this house survives too, despite being dropped from a height of 20,450 feet because its body may be made of wood, but it got nerves of steel.